You're part of Surreal Estate. But you're telling me it's not a collective.
It tries to be.
It tries to be.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I would say it's a community, and it tries to run by collective process, consensus-based decision making.
Yeah.
But that is more of a dream than a reality. We have a weekly meeting. Tends to run 3 to 4 hours. A lot gets said, very little gets done. So that's frustrating.
Sure.
The living conditions are pretty hard and pretty unequal.
Yeah.
So the house itself is not, it's not collective in terms of what we all experience. There's some have better lives in that house. Some have sunlight, some don't. Some have nice spaces, some don't. Some have air circulation, some don't. Some have windows, some don't.
And how big of a space are we talking about?
It's 2 buildings side by side, 3 floors each. 5 of the 6 total floors is real estate. And that's been a slow process of accruing different spaces and adding them into the collective, so-called collective. It's a collective living arrangement. We do live together.
Yeah.
We do share some resources, not all resources. We don't really hold too much property in common, so it's not a commune.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's coming closer to it than most people living in the city.
Sure.
So,
and how many people?
It's about 50 people.
About 50 people, and
Right.
so like say for instance, food. How is do you share food or?
We share dumpster dived food. That's pretty much all communal. People don't really hold dumpster dived food for themselves unless they personally retrieved it, rescued it, and they can put their name on it, put it in the fridge. But the rule is kind of if there's something in the fridge that doesn't have a name on it, it's for everyone.
Okay.
So yeah. And then sometimes people cook for each other too. We're trying to do that better and centralize our efforts in cooking and eating.
Yeah.
To create one space in the building that will be a centralized kitchen.
Yeah.
Where we do communal cooking and communal dumpster diving and processing of dumpster dive food.
Yeah.
And sort of separating it out into an organized fashion. That's in the process right now. It's a slow process. Getting anything done with that many people is a slow process.
Yeah, sure. Would you say most of the people there identify as anarchists, or?
I would say probably it's definitely not an anarchist identified space, but I would say something like half the people there would call themselves anarchists. As a guess.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Cool. And so there's a lot of art and music and different things going on.
Yeah.
The Bushwick Food Not Bombs goes on there.
Yeah,
right?
Bushwick Food Not Bombs.
Yeah. So
every week Thursday mornings.
Is that living in a space where so much activity is going on? It sounds invigorating, but I'm sure there's also challenges to that.
Yeah.
Could you maybe talk a little bit about your experiences?
That's a great point. I mean, it is invigorating. It's very inspiring.
Sure.
Being around people who are doing shit is great. People are doing Food Not Bombs. People are doing projects at the 123 space.
Yeah.
People are trying to enact a sort of prefigurative politics like we were talking about today in that panel, in the way that we live together as a community and trying to build community and build stronger ties amongst ourselves so that we can have some power. I mean, a force of 50 people is a real force. If we can ever come together on something, it's awesome. I mean, we do communal things in the house. Like people share their jobs, which is neat. Like bike delivery jobs and stuff. We get a lot of us share those things, and other types of informal sector labor is shared. Because who wants to hold the same job every day? Sometimes you want to go do something.
So, as far as the different things that are going on there, are there certain projects that you're more involved with in Surreal Estate? Or is there anything in particular you'd like to talk about? Food Not Bombs?
Not as much as I would like, but I do really like that project a lot. I think it's really, we can make something so beautiful out of our society's waste.
Yeah.
I heard a statistic that 50% of all the food that's produced and packaged and sold in this country is thrown in the garbage. Yeah. So, we take that and make a nice vegan meal and just share it with anyone who wants it, every week, 1 o'clock, at the corner of Knickerbocker at Star. We cook at 10 a.m. at Surreal Estate, and that's open to anyone who wants to come help.
Okay. Cool.
So, yeah, that's neat. I mean, I really like that. I really like that a lot. Other projects I'm involved in are Radical Tea Party, which is the anarchist-feminist group. We're, radical feminists, and that group is, we meet once a week. We have a zine distro, which I think a lot of us have worked really hard on it, and it's really, I mean, I don't know if did you see it at the book fair?
No.
Oh man, it came
I didn't
so
get
well.
I
It's
did
so beautiful
I
right
didn't
now.
get much chance to
But you
check
said
out
you
the
were in
tables.
workshops.
Yeah, I was in
Yeah.
panels and
Yeah, but so we've focused really heavily on our zine distro, curating zines. I think we have something like 50 zines now. So we have zines on anarcha-feminism. We have zines on responses to sexual abuse. We have zines on feminism for men. We have stuff on white privilege and examining that. We meet. Oh, and we meet every week at the 123 Space Monday nights. So
okay.
anyone who's interested in that could come to
Cool.
a meeting and check out, try to get some lit, or just contact one of us, or email. Whatever.
Okay.
So,
And if people are interested in surreal estate, is there a way for them to contact someone there?
Yeah, you can find Surreal Estate on the MySpace, or you can email surrealestateny@gmail.
Okay.
About wanting to live there or whatever. There's like a formal application actually, which is on Craigslist usually.
Oh, okay.
You can just search on the address 1310s.
And,
Craigslist.
What would that like an average rent be to live there? Is it vary widely or?
300 to 450.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's because we share rooms. So like the spaces themselves are not cheap actually. I mean, it's like a normal gentrified Bushwick rate, $800 a room.
Yeah.
But you share it with someone, so you pay $400.
Oh, okay.
So like that's why there's such numbers in that house, because most people have a roommate.
Oh, okay. And how is that as far as does that help to build the community? You think?
Yeah.
The community feeling.
Yeah. I
mean,
mean,
it's
you can't really isolate yourself in that house. I mean,
Yeah.
I suppose you can, but you'd have to go to great effort to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very social living environment. It's very social. People are friends there. Like, people sometimes ask me, like, oh my God, that many people, do you all know each other? It's like, yeah, man, we're all friends. Like, yeah, we're a community. That is the strongest part about that house. It's like, it's a real, actual community in terms of a person-to-person relation. Like, we relate to each other.
It's not just a catchphrase. It's
share
actually
our lives.
a living experience.
It is.
Yeah. Well, if anything, that sounds like like we were talking about the importance of prefigurative practices, and despite its limitations and
it is limiting. I mean, it's hard to get things done.
Sure.
Especially because we're not all on the same page. Like I was saying, not everyone is an anarchist.
Yeah.
We don't share. Strong. We don't share political views necessarily throughout the house. We don't all share the same vision of what we think the house ought to be or look like, feel like. So that's difficult. I mean, I think that it would function better if it weren't so large and there wasn't such a need to fill the rooms to pay the rent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to a certain extent, not everyone who lives there is on board with the project.
Sure.
But they want cheap rent.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Do you see, with people who maybe aren't on the same page but just looking for the cheap rent, do you see them changing though? Like, does living there transform them in some way?
Sure, I think so. Yeah. I mean, the community is really strong there.
Yeah.
And it gives you a lot. I mean, your needs are met in really surprising and unexpected ways sometimes.
Yeah.
Just by living with so many people that you care about and that care about you too. You know what I mean? And you don't always expect that somebody's got your back, but they often do, and it's beautiful when it works, right? It's gorgeous. You really feel the power of the community in that house sometimes. But it's also tremendously draining. I mean, my roommate has a joke that, to live at Surreal Estate, it's pretty much a full-time job. You're cleaning all the time. Yeah. You're constantly in meetings. You have to do all this work and organize and get things done in the house, and you still have to pay rent. I mean, it's difficult. I mean, it's draining in a lot of ways.
Sure.
So that's
awesome.
I mean, it's a great place, but it's work.
Yeah. Thank you.